Caller, you're on the air.
Threatened, I felt unwelcome, and it was a death. I see this light. It's like,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Bizarre Junkies call-in show. I am your host, Austin Alvarez. We are joined by Miss Noah, of course, as always, the Black Cauldron. You guys have not left me alone about this show. Like, last week I had some prior engagements. We weren't able to come and be on the show, and I apologize for that, but we're here tonight. But I had people reach out from your audience and my audience going, y'all going live tonight last Friday? And we were not able to, but we're here now. We've got, of course, as always, the man behind everything here. We got Mr. George Carmona.
How's it going, people? Welcome to the call-in show. Bwah, 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 bwah.
Yep. So while we let people start to file into the lives and get the show going, I want to talk about a text message chain you and I had last night.
Yeah.
So yesterday was a little bit of a rough day here at work. Went home, wasn't really feeling it. And I don't know if I texted you first, but you texted me first, but like you knew what I did and I didn't tell you anything.
Of course.
You were like, everything good? And I was like, what do you mean is everything good?
That's the life of a spiritualist, always knowing everyone's tea. And I'm like, okay. But that's because of the reading we had a couple months ago.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you want to refresh everybody, if you can, off the top of your head, what kind of I was getting during that?
Yeah. So whenever we did our reading, I had told you, I gave you the upfront, like, I'm not going to say certain stuff. Like, I'm going to just call you. We're going to finish it up. But there was a lot of King of Cups energy in reverse, though, like somebody that gives very, very stale, dry, cold, and bad advice.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. It says, shadow side is revealed emotionally unavailable, insensitive, and immature.
Yes.
He acts on impulse with no thought to how this actions may affect anyone else. George, sound like anybody here? I'm not going to name names. But no names. We're not naming anybody. But so, yeah, that was a card you kind of kept like circling back to.
Yes, because like I said, anything that I felt like doesn't need to be said on camera, I will not. Even on TikTok live whenever I do readings, and I do readings there, YouTube very often. So I was like, no, we're gonna, and then we were texting, you're like, I'm not feeling it. First of all, it was a full moon. So.
Oh God, George, of all days yesterday, I decided to leave early.
Right?
Full moon.
Nobody's energy was right. Everybody was jacked up.
You know whose energy was right and they held it the fuck down was George.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I have experienced this, though, as a teacher. The full moon cycle, like with students around school, that's when all the kids get into trouble. So I've been there.
Listen, everybody's energy was off yesterday and the days prior. So whenever you were like, I'm just not feeling it, I was like, well, you remember about 2 months ago.
You were like, I got receipts for you, sir.
You need to go back and watch your own live stream, sir, and watch the reading part. So, but
you gave me some more though, so I don't know if you want to tell. We don't have to go into super detail, but you can tell the two cards you gave me because.
Oh, was it the King of Cups? And then
well, so that was last time.
Oh,
so
Temperance.
No, so you gave me the Tower.
Oh, yeah. I said, your little tower moment.
Yeah, you gave me the Tower, and then you gave me Death.
Yes.
Which is funny because I told you this before, but I have a lighter with the Death Tarot card engraved on it.
Yes, and as a tarot reader, if you read tarot, then everybody's afraid of the Tower card, and they don't understand the Death card, and they're one of the two most beautiful cards that you could get. And I love the Death card. That's transformation, that's metamorphosis, that's transition, new beginnings and endings, right?
Yeah.
So you know what I told you yesterday.
I do know what you told me.
I put my tit on the table and I said, listen, you know what I told you. So
to say how the kids say, you were standing on business.
I was standing on big business.
You were standing on it. And, but I just thought it was crazy that George knows having a bad day. And then, you were like, what happened? I was like, oh, hell no. Yeah.
Listen,
Come on.
Everybody was going through tower moments for the last week. It's been hell. It's been a lot of just weird energy, but it was just that full moon. It's going to level us
now, what if I told you today things were going, obviously not the thing that happened this morning with my appointment, but here things are going up.
Better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Tower card, there's nowhere but to go but up.
Well, because you already fell.
Yeah, it's like the ten. It's like the Ten of Swords in reverse. You can't get no worse. Like,
damn.
Yeah, Listen, after the tower is the star. That's hope, calm, and renewal. So you'll be fine.
I hope so. I hope so.
I know you will.
I hope
I'm gonna
so.
make sure. Like I said, I'm standing on big business now.
Standing on big
You my
business.
friend in real life, okay?
Not like a TikTok friend. We're in the flesh right now. I mean, right here it shows a border, but we're really here. I mean,
No, for real. That's my friend.
And you know who else is
Homeboy.
really here is George. George is really here.
Yes. I'm
And
in the
Mr. Fresh
present.
behind the camera.
Hey, they're starting to filter in, people.
They are starting to
I
filter
got
in.
the number up.
So let's go over the rules real quick before we start taking some calls. So remember, let's just be respectful. That doesn't mean you can't cuss or talk about strong topics. It's just like, just don't be an asshole. Like, just don't do that. Because George demonstrated last week he will throw the hammer down.
I am. I'm the axe back here, people.
Yeah.
The other rule is, of course, we have the right to cut anybody off at any moment. Granted, we're not trying to do that. We want to hear your story. Also, we really appreciate you guys calling in, but we want to make sure we get to everybody because we had like 10 calls we couldn't get to last
we
time.
had to kick a lot of people.
Yeah. So George, I don't know if it's easy on your end. We probably should have talked about this a little beforehand, but maybe we put a little timer up.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think if we just do 5 minutes per caller, that way, you get to say your piece, you get to come on, you get to be part of the show, but then we gotta, we still gotta keep it rolling. There's already like 8 people in the queue.
Right.
There's already 8 people there.
I heard
so
that.
We want you guys to be able to call in, but we also want to make sure as we can get as many people on at a time. So but how was your? I haven't seen you since the last show. I mean, we talk all the time, but
Yes.
But how have things been going for you? I mean, I see you were live a lot on TikTok the last week or so.
And I had to literally, like you said, the full moon was beating my ass too. It wasn't just, I'm not above that. So I had to slow down. I had to focus on Patreon. I do a podcast on Patreon for my patrons. I teach spirituality and hoodoo over there. So I was focusing there, readings and all that good stuff. Everything's been good. I think the last time I was here, I was going viral, which was so random. And then
which is amazing.
Right. And then the response video went viral and it was.
And this video went viral for you too. I mean, it did 13,000 on your page, which is incredible. So, I mean, we have 13,000 new friends. So, we have tons of people. Sorry, everybody, I did a show on Wednesday with Mr. Tony Orlando, which for those of you who are excited about it, that comes out Monday. George was there for that one. George said, hey, I like how you just let him go, and then eventually would reel him in and let him go again, because that man has some crazy stories. But my mom and my grandmother were here watching in the green room, and they're like,
I didn't see the premiere of it, but whose mom was here?
That was Franny's mom.
Okay.
Franny's mom was on the show. I'm going to get my mom on eventually.
Okay.
But so they were watching, and they were like, you keep messing with your ears. Like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, it's just they're brand new in-ears. I got to get them molded. Got to make sure they fit to my ear. And then also, like, the cable kind of snags. So I have to give it some slack. But, yeah. So that's why I'm doing that. But, George, are we ready to start taking callers in?
Yeah, so callers, please just, once you enter the call, mute your televisions and just talk through the call because it's at a slight delay. Also, when I say your numbers, it could appear as a delay. So we'll give you a couple of seconds to join in the call. But the first caller is going to have the last 4 digits of 9286.
9286.
9286.
Yeah,
And I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and it'll give you the prompt to unmute. So last 4 digits, 9286. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Last 4 digits, 9286.
I know they also get a prompt, like it says, the host is asking you to unmute.
Yeah, and
So
they're
just
like a
keep an
couple
ear out for that.
seconds behind
Yeah.
us too.
It's about 30-second delay from them watching us right now to them hearing it.
9286. Go ahead, unmute yourself for us. Give you a couple of seconds here before we move on. You will have to complete the prompt. All right, while we're waiting for that one, the next caller, 5687. 5687. Go ahead, unmute yourself. 5687. I believe it is *6 to unmute yourself. 5687. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
So the way you unmute yourself is you press *6 on the keyboard. *6 on your number pad.
Oh, I see her. She's in my comments. She said, "Oh man, I was trying to unmute."
Oh no.
She can still unmute. 9286.
You can still unmute.
Whoever gets in first.
Whoever unmutes first.
*6. There we are. Caller.
Hello.
Hello, am I there?
Yes. Hello.
we
Welcome to
go.
the Bizarre Junkies Call-In Show. Tell us your name and location if you'd like.
Sure, I'm in Houston, Texas, and my name is Melissa. But
Melissa,
my screen
welcome.
name is Isis Ray.
Hi, Melissa.
Thank you. I just want to say I like both of your channels. I follow you both on YouTube.
Thank you. We
Congrats to
appreciate
both.
you.
I just have one story, and I just never forget. I was telling my husband, like, I'll never forget this. It's just been stuck with me since I was a kid. So my dad, he used to tuck me and my sister in, well, all of us in, all of our siblings, at night. And one day I was in my room, and my dad, after he said his goodnight or whatever, he typically turned off the light in our bedroom with the ceiling fan. So, you know,
George, you got both of them
pull the
unmuted.
string on the ceiling fan.
1 second for us.
1 second. Having
Hello?
some technical
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you.
difficulties.
The other person unmuted. That we apologize for that. Continue, please.
Oh, okay. So I don't know which part you guys heard or didn't hear, but I'll just make it quick. So my dad used to tuck us in, tell stories, blah, blah, when we were kids. And then before he'll leave the room, he'll turn off the light by the ceiling fan that was hanging in our bedroom, me and my sister. But at this time, me and my sister, we separated, had our own room. So one night, my dad, he said his goodnight, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Dad, you forgot to turn off the light. Like, I kept telling him, like, hey, you forgot to turn off the light. I kept yelling for him to come back into the room. And then all of a sudden, the light literally, like the string, it turns itself off. Like, it clicked. You can see the string moving. The lights went off. I didn't really acknowledge it. I was just like, okay. I turned over and I
Went back to sleep, right?
I was just like, yeah, I'm not about to say anything, but I would never forget. I had been like 6, maybe 5, 6 years old when that happened. I was just never forget that. I was like, yeah, it's more than just us here.
So Dad never entered the room again after that. It just turned off.
He never came back. It just turned off, and you can literally like see the string moving, like someone pulled it and it went off.
Did you like say thank you for them turning off the light?
Say not a helpful
No,
spirit.
I didn't say anything. I just looked. I turned over and I was.
And she said that's none of my business.
Yep, minding my business. Go right back to bed.
At all.
I was done.
Right.
But really quick, I know we only got 5 minutes, but I do have a question because this happened recently. Is there a meaning behind if you dream that you're falling and wake up on the floor? Or is that just your dream telling you that you're falling?
I'm not a dream interpreter. Let me just go ahead and say that. But I would take that dream as there is either something that needs to be completed or you feel like you have no control over your life. There's something that you need to make a decision on or whatever the case is. That's how I would take it. But like I said, I'm not a dream interpreter. I just read tarot cards.
Okay. Because then I had to follow up, like, what is the dream? That your teeth are falling out, but you're not a dream interpreter? I mean,
I've heard of that before.
I think it's stress. I think it means like you're stressed. I know George had a story. I'll tell it after you finish your call. I don't want to cut you off. I know you're on time.
No, that was cool. That was just my last 2 because I know it's like time crunch, so I just wanted to hurry up and get those in.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Yes,
We really
thank you,
appreciate
love.
you. We hope to see you on the next one as always.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
I'll get back in.
So George, I remember you were telling, and you can cut me off. You don't want me to talk about this, but I remember you saying you had a dream that like you were shot in the face.
Oh yeah, I did. I had a dream that I was shot in the head after like a pretty stressful day. And then I like looked it up, and it was like a sense of powerlessness in a situation. Yeah, and that was like I never dream like that, but I got blasted, dude. Execution style.
Yeah, I've had dreams where I've been stabbed, that I be fighting in slow motion, that I'm drunk.
See,
and
I've never
trying to
had
fight.
dreams like that. I've had dreams where I've been in like dangerous or like scary scenarios, like an apocalyptic scenario, but I've never had like been shot in a dream. But going back to the losing your teeth, so it says it could represent anxiety or psychological distress.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, those are the scientific things. Like I said, a dream interpreter will be able to tell you exactly. There's a lot of good books online that will tell you, like, spiritually what it means.
Right.
Yeah, because that could either be somebody sending you just bad dreams, or it could actually mean something. Oh, I'm so sorry.
The spirits are calling us.
That's my mama.
Are you sure it's not the caller of the last 4 digits? 8094. 8094. Star 6 to unmute yourself. Caller, you're in the room.
Hello. Welcome in.
Hey, thank you. How are you guys doing?
Good. How
Good,
are you
how
this
are you?
evening?
Good, good. Happy Friday. So
Yes.
I got a crazy story that my mom actually shared with me. And she's in her 70s now, but she had gone to a friend's 40th birthday party, and they had a psychic there, and they were having like one-off little meetings with the lady, and my mom sat down with her, and the psychic said to my mom, so the other night you thought you were having a dream, and you woke up in the middle of the night, which my mom thought was still in her dream, and she thought she saw her grandma standing in the hallway, and her grandma was like, come here, Jeannie, come with me. And my mom was all freaked out and didn't go, and the psychic said, good thing you didn't go, because that was not your grandma.
I was just finna say. It's giving
Man.
trickster spirit. It's giving trickster
Yes,
spirit.
like, what? Oh, man.
Oh
What in
my
the world was
gosh.
that?
And how would she know that? I think I made a video on psychics on here before.
We've had one on the show here before.
Ooh, I would love to get on there with her.
I'll have to
Crazy.
I'll have to introduce you guys because it was Brian Hopkins, the bald guy from the Ghost Hunt. It's him, which he also does a show here. So
Well, thank you so much for
Well,
your
I love you guys.
experience.
Love watching you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
thank you, you as well. You have a great one.
All righty. Our next caller, last 4 digits, 5687. 5687. Star 6 to unmute yourself. 5687. Caller, you're in the room. If you can mute your TV for us.
Hi. Yeah, hi.
Thank you for that.
Hello,
Here.
welcome in.
Hi. I love Black Cauldron, by the way. I've been following her for a little while.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate your support.
Yes. I'm the waist B girly that's always commented under your videos.
Oh,
But
love.
I have a crazy thing that happened. So I've always had a lot of things happen to me all my life. So I'm going to tell a story. One time my friend was texting me, right? And she was like, oh, we just chit-chatting. And then she just happened to send a picture of her grandmother. Like she texted a picture and then just randomly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, oh, what do you think about her or whatever she said? Like, what you just asked her, like, what do you think? And I kid you not, my iPhone was plugged in charging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that, I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody, but through the picture, her spirit, I don't know, but her energy, she took me into the picture and showed what she was doing at the time of that picture. And I ended up, like, she showed me, like, a scenery of, like, what was happening. And I texted my friend. I said, oh, your mother was a healer. She helped people. She was like, what? How the hell did you know that? Because she didn't give me no backstory.
Oh
and
my
do you know,
gosh.
after I told her that, you know what happened? She drained the battery on my iPhone. My iPhone just went dead.
That doesn't surprise me. Are you a clairvoyant or do you have the gift of sight?
I see and hear. I see them and I hear them. So this has been all my life. So, but that situation was insane. Like I tried to Google
You can't find anything about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like she literally took me into the picture and showed me what she was doing. So I know. And I got stories, girl. I got stories.
Email me. You know, I'll be trying to get all the tea. Okay, email me.
Right.
My email is all over my YouTube and on my TikTok. But that is insane.
Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Not so to say the picture. I've heard of people looking and touching pictures, and then they kind of get a sense and vibe on what the person, how the person lived or whatever the case is, but being snatched and placed in the scenery.
Yeah, like
that's wild.
She was showing me what was going on, and she was in Guyana, and she was a healer. She used to heal people in the whole town. That's what she ended up telling me. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm so happy I got to tell one of my stories.
We're glad you got to call in.
Thank you so much for the support.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have a wonderful weekend.
I'll let the next caller come. Yes,
thank
you too. Bye. Later.
Have a good one. We got Cameron in now. Cameron thought I wasn't going to mention she just walked in and is about to be on the TikTok live. We got George's fiance in the building. She has a worse ban hammer. You think George is bad at banning? Wait till you get Cameron back there. She's going to start banning everybody. She said, you have one mess up, gone.
All right, I got to get back to the job. I got to stop making lovey-dovey back here. Last four digits, 2475. 2475. *6 to unmute yourself. Make sure you like and subscribe. Trying to do this every Friday. We need a reason. We need some spooky stories, people. We need the tea, as they would say. 2475. Last four digits, *6 to unmute yourself. Give us the tea. Give you a couple more seconds here. *6 to unmute yourself. Once you are selected, it does tell you that you've entered the room, so just be proactive in that. Last four digits, 2475.
When we make the big bucks, we're gonna have to get like the whole radio set up, like radio stations have, where they have these three people back there, but they're all just fielding calls. Like, yeah. We've already heard 3 goat stories today. We gotta. Sorry, we'll take your call next week.
Next caller, last four digits, 3151. 3151. *6 to unmute yourself.
I'm gonna put it in the comments as well.
Also, if you there we are. Caller, you've joined.
Oh, they muted themselves again.
Try one more time. *6 to unmute yourself. All right, I have another caller in the room. Last four digits, 5049.
Oops, somebody unmuted.
There we are. Caller, you there?
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the call-in show.
Thank you. This is my second time hearing you guys. I just found you guys last week.
Well, welcome. Glad you can make it to the live show.
Thank you. I wanted to share one of my stories about when I was first starting to use my mediumship abilities. What happened was that particular day, I was in a chat room and I kept feeling all these different sensations in my body. And I kept telling people that something was I was getting really, really cold. And I knew it was a death chill. And I went through this for hours on end, and I kept explaining to everybody the sensations I was feeling because I was trying to figure out who this belonged to, because it was definitely a person that had passed. What I didn't know is he had passed that day, and somebody that was going to come into the chat room later had told him, this is the place that you can come and there'll be people open that you can connect with. Well, he comes in hours later, and everything that I had been experiencing, he said was exactly what happened to this guy that very day that he had just passed that day.
Yeah, that's very normal to
Normal?
Yes. I don't know why Spirit puts together mediums and the people that they are trying to communicate with.
See that with the medium we had, she was telling us that like she was like, I forgot where, but she was in some other country, and she was at a pool, and like like a woman was next to her, and then all of a sudden she was like, I have to go talk to this woman.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and she was even like telling them like, no, not here. Like I'm in a pool, I don't feel safe doing it. And they were like, nope,
Sorry.
I got to tell my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's rough because the spirit will bother a medium until they do what you ask. And that's
like a debt collector.
Yes. And it's definitely like a debt collector. And they're like, hounding almost like the medium to tell who they need.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Because initially I was a channeler for the energy. So they would actually make me experience what they were going through. I since developed boundaries, and I was like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore because I don't need that type of headache in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I found very unique about my abilities is that it's no longer just with the dead, but I can also see the living running around in my house. Like if you're thinking of me, I will actually see your image appear to me.
Wow.
Because oftentimes I'll bring up the living just like I would the dead, and the person's like, well, they're not dead. And I'll tell them the living and the dead energy to me is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not unusual for me to not only bring up your past loved one, but also people who are living oftentimes because they want to just let people know that, hey, we're still very much present. We're still around. We're still engaging with everybody.
Right.
And
I wouldn't mind that
specific
superpower.
messages for folks.
I wouldn't mind that. The especially the living part. That's the best snitch ever. Like who's thinking about you, and you probably can feel in what ways they're thinking about you, which is really cool.
Yeah, because for me, I'm an empath, but I can also see and I can hear. I can use all 5 of my senses with my abilities. It just kind of depends on how the spirit wants to convey their messages to me. Because there was one man that I spoke with, which was the father. He enjoyed a glass of alcohol, and as he was talking to me, I could hear him. Just how people switch around their glasses as they're talking to you with the ice in it. I could hear the ice clicking as he was talking to me.
Oh yeah, see, that's amazing. That's scary, but it's amazing. Shout out to all my mediums. Y'all do the good Lord's work. I don't know if I'd be sane if I was a medium. I couldn't. But thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you for allowing me to share with you guys.
Absolutely.
Have a
Yes,
good one.
thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
So I have a question for you, Miss Black Cauldron. Obviously, there's no way to pick your powers here, but can you do something to if I wanted to be able to be I'm gonna be able to see when the stock market's gonna fall. Can I make an offering to Jordan Belfort's future ghost or?
You can definitely get a reading. There are people psychics. They don't miss. I'm telling you, you can get a reading from a psychic. You can get a tarot card reading. A lot of people don't like to kind of do time frames with tarot cards because it's all dependent on what you do. People,
like we talked about earlier.
Yes. So if you're not following what your tarot card reader or your reader in general, it doesn't have to be tarot cards. This is the instruction. This will happen in this time frame. This will be right if you do what I'm telling you to do.
How many times have you been I can help you? All you got to do is this, and they're yeah, fuck that. I'm not gonna do that. And
oh
they're
gosh,
come on.
Story of my life. They're I really want to meet someone. I'm you're gonna meet someone, but you got to do your shadow work. You got to cleanse. You have to do this. And they're okay.
And you can't stay at home.
Yeah, you cannot stay at home. You can't Netflix and chill with a Snuggie on by yourself and think you're gonna find a man. Sis, you got to put yourself out there. And they'll come back, and I'll be definitely spring.
Spring, and then the spring comes, and you're what have you done?
Yeah, they're
I went to the Taylor Swift concert. Ain't no man there.
There's no man. It's all primarily women.
Cameron, did you go watch Taylor Swift when she was in town?
No. It's a big no.
big no.
She says I hate Taylor Swift.
I don't care for Taylor Swift either.
Hate's a strong
I
word.
noticed.
She took it back.
Better be careful.
Yeah,
sorry.
they may, Cameron, we may get DDoSed, okay?
I know. No, this is Beyonce's internet. Okay, we're not even gonna act like
Yeah.
it's
T Swift, you were the best thing to happen to me for fantasy football this year when you start hooked up with Travis Kelce and he decided to ball out for 3 weeks and then decided to not ball out anymore. So I didn't finish last. Cameron, did you win? Yes, I did. Cameron actually won our. So
Okay.
George, we've done it 2 years in a row now. For Gridiron Junkies, we do a fantasy football league, and we live stream the draft. If both rooms are taken up, and we have everybody sits and they have to announce their pick.
Oh, so she whooped you guys' ass.
Well, she came in second
talk,
last year
yeah.
too, so she lost because of DeMar Hamlin last year because he died on the field and
Okay. Oh gosh, I have a story about that. I'll tell you.
Oh no! Oh my god! She actually wished it into. She prayed for you, Cameron. She's like, let me just do my shadow work and Cameron's gonna win.
Whenever I was doing that, I'll let this caller go.
yeah.
I apologize, caller, but
Hello, we love Taylor Swift. Do you love Taylor Swift?
Caller, you're in.
Hi.
hi.
Hello.
Hi, hello. How are you all?
I'm good. How are you, babe?
I'm doing so well. Oh, I've been following Black Cauldron for a while now, so I'm so excited. I've never called in before, so
Thank
my little
you.
neighbor's happy.
I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate you. You've been such an inspiration in a lot of ways, so it's reciprocal. But yeah, I never say I'm like clairvoyant or anything like that, but I'm just like sensitive, like weird shit just happens, or my intuition when I follow it is very on point. And so one thing I notice that happens when I'm having spiritual experiences is that I affect light for some reason. And it's been on so many occasions to now. It's like I used to not necessarily, I was spiritual, but I was like, I don't know about like the lights and stuff like that. And it's like, oh no, that's the thing. Like it was one moment, usually when I'm in moments of like deep like distress or like just very, very intense emotions. I also have BPD, so they're already intense. So then on top of whatever energetic situation I got going on, I will cause lights to flicker. And it's always going to be like, I'll find this point of like, it'll be a certain lamp, it's been billboards at this point, which was crazy. I was like, this is absolutely not happening. I was already going through a kind of like dark night of the soul situation. And I was like, ain't no way in hell I'm making this billboard flicker. And it was like, as I was evaluating my emotional state and seeing how intense it truly was, it would affect a billboard. Or it was one time I was on my college campus at night because I just wanted to be alone and I liked the atmosphere that they had. And so I would just go there at night like a weirdo and like take pictures and stuff like that.
Right.
But I was sitting in front of this old building and I'm thinking like the janitors are going around and cleaning or whatever, but I see this light. It's like someone's turning on a light in a room, like one of the classrooms, but it's changing floors. And it was the timing of it all was my thought process. It was like something was communicating with me. It was more like telepathic. And I was like, this can't be happening. Like, what is this? What are the chances that I'm not just like I'm creating this phenomenon in my head? It happened so many times in a row under consistent circumstances that I've come to the point where I have accepted it. So I don't have any crazy stories, but like that, I feel like that's kind of
no crazy
weird.
stories. That was interesting.
Crazy. Crazy does not just come in the form of paranormal. But they say that if we were able to unlock 100% of our brains, we all would be able to do telekinesis, and we can see the different spiritual
wavelengths.
Yeah, you could be able to see ghosts. They be walking around like us, so. You're definitely special. I can say that.
Oh, thank you. I'm really on like a spiritual journey right now where I'm accepting like, oh, I thought I was special. Like, bitch, you're not special. It's like, no, you actually might be, and that's okay. Like, that's all right. And actually walking in that power, and that's one reason why I love watching you. And also, I found the Bizarre Junkies through you, and I love you guys' vibe. You guys are so chill.
Thank you.
So it's such a fun experience. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm not going to hold up the line no more.
Thank you so much.
But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for calling in. We're glad you're able to.
Oh, no problem. Bye, guys.
Bye. Yeah, I'm glad people understand that we have a chill vibe, because I've had people, and here's the thing. I never make fun of anybody on my show who, like, when we're talking about, like, a really graphic or gruesome, like, murder or something. George and I handle that kind of information differently.
Yeah.
George and I have known each other since 6th grade. We laugh at everything. Not because it's funny, but it's because it's how we process.
Yeah.
And people called me out, like, hard on this video because, like, we were like laughing, but it was like so gruesome we didn't know how to process it. And, like, that's how we processed it. And so I just want to clear that up. Like, George and I are not out here roasting people. No. It's just how we process it. Like, some of this stuff is just so crazy we don't even know how to, like, comprehend
it. Yeah.
Well, y'all know my vibes are chill. I don't do nothing but tell stories, read books, and drink water. So if I vouch for them too, I know y'all follow their channel as well.
Thank you.
Don't just be here for me, because they have very similar content, except they tell it on like a podcast type of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, and we do videos like you. We haven't done one in a while, but I know we're planning some ghost hunts here. Like, we've had a couple. Tony, which for anybody who knows Tony Orlando and Dawn, the famous singer, he was on the show this past week, but his episode comes out on Monday. And he was telling us, George, I think we need to go to Arkansas, not just to see your brother, who is now a Razorback, but
yeah, there's a spookiest hotel. Even my parents knew about it, and they don't even know anything about spooky stuff.
Ooh, what is it called?
Oh,
Crest Moon.
Mooncrest.
Oh, okay.
Mooncrest Hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, Mooncrest Hotel. They were telling us that Tony and his brother were telling us they were there on tour, and they were staying there, and they saw a man in a bolo hat and a trench coat, is like vivid, and then he just disappeared, and they went down, and they told the front desk, like, is there a man? And like, wait, does he have a bolo hat?
Oh,
and
no.
they were like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, that's so and so. He was the doctor that had the I guess he had like a thing on the second floor. So
Wait, and where is it?
in Arkansas. So I mean, we were already going to go see George's brother because we love him, and he just made a huge life-changing commitment to Arkansas for football. He's going to be playing there, so we were going to go see him. But it's what, an hour away?
Yeah,
from your
hour
brother?
and 3 minutes.
That sounds kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
Listen.
Oh, the content's
I'm
gonna be
text
rolling.
you.
Next
I'm
caller.
afraid to take you on a ghost hunt because like shit happened, like shit would like George might get possessed.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, this is a place. I'm ready for it.
He says he's ready for it. I was scared of my life.
4887 *6 to unmute yourself. *887 *6 to unmute yourself.
What is? Oh hell no! Don't tell me that.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh no! Don't tell me that. What do we call him on the show? Does he have a name?
On TikTok, he's Mr. Fresh.
Mr. Fresh. Oh, well, we have the caller in. Hello, we can hear you, caller.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
you?
I'm doing great. I live in Philly, but I'm originally from the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Wow.
Okay,
Welcome.
all right, now I know you got a story for me, girl.
Well, I remember you did a story about the June bees, but I didn't call for that. This is kind of spooky because you guys are like the third people that I say anything about. So the Avatar movie came out in 2008.
Yes.
And 2009. So
I can fact check. Yep, 2009. Good job.
Yeah. So 2008. I used to always have weird dreams, but I've never seen like the previews or anything when it came to the first Avatar movie or anything like that. So it had one night I was being chased by these guys, and they were dressed like the people like in Men in Black, and I'm running, and all of a sudden I'm in this empty space, and these two giant blue people grab me and they say, "Hey, they're after your life." I'm like, what are you talking about? But I'm not saying anything. I'm saying it in my head. What are you talking about? And they were like, this light. And one of them touched my forehead, and this bright light just turned on. And I got so freaked out, I jumped out of my sleep.
Oh, my gosh.
And an elder told me that was not a dream.
And someone else just said that too, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah, where they thought it was a dream, and it wasn't a dream. It was their mother.
And I was was like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean this is not, that was in the gym? They're like, they're trying to tell you something. Whatever gift that you have in you, people are always going to try to destroy it. They're going to always put you down. But no matter whatever power you have in you, you will always get back up and come back 10 times full.
Oh, shit.
And I'm still like, this was like 2008, and I'm still baffled every time I think about it, because I've been through the ringer, okay? I've been through hell and back, and I always get right back up.
That's the way it's supposed to be. And this was before Avatar, if this was in '08, right?
This was before, yeah. And then when this movie came out, and I finally saw the movie, I'm looking at these people like, what in the world? I was like, okay, this is creepy.
To have something so similar,
and it, I really believe in that. Everybody has some type of power within them. It's just you have to learn or kind of believe in yourself to bring it out. Like yourself, you. I love you. You're awesome. You know, and I like the way that you talk about our culture with Jumbies and all of that cool stuff. I have some stories, and I'm going to email you about it.
Please. And if I ever say a word wrong, I always tell y'all I'm not above correction, because I'll be practicing my dialect. So I'm like, I hope I don't offend anybody.
So like in the Virgin Islands, like the U.S. Virgin Islands, I'm from the U.S. Virgin Islands. St. Thomas and St. Croix, even though it's sister islands, we do have different accents. So some people say Jumbi, but we say Jumbi.
Yep.
Like we don't drag the I. And then I think it's everything is just African stuff. It's just like folklore. And I think you talked about a lady with a goat foot too.
Yes.
We call her goat foot woman.
And see, I was taught La Diablesse or Diablesse. So it's like, it just depends on where you come from.
Yes, Diablesse. And I saw her when I was a little girl in school.
Oh my goodness. See, I told you she was going to have tea.
Yeah. So they used to always tell us, don't go by the bushes because there's a goat-foot woman behind there. I'm like, what are you? And we know, being curious as little kids, we would run back there and we would like throw things to like see if she would come out. And I saw her one day. And nobody else saw her. And she turned around and looked at me, and she like, with her finger, she's like, shh.
Oh my gosh.
Like, don't tell nobody.
And I wouldn't have. I was like, yes, ma'am.
Oh, I never went back there. Not ever again. Ever. Yeah, but it's just that, like, some people call it Diablesse. We call it Diablesse. Some people call it Goatfoot Lady. All kinds of stuff. But I'm a send you some emails about some crazy stuff, though. And thank you for having me. And I love you guys. I love your lives. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
So
we really
much.
appreciate you calling in.
You.
I know for sure, though, one thing, George, she needs to go and get her money from James Cameron.
I know.
Yes.
James Cameron owes you a check, sis.
Yeah, and don't let him take you down near the Titanic, okay? Last people went down there didn't end up well.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's crazy that, yeah.
No, they call it folklore, but I don't know. Too many people say the same thing.
Well, and that's like urban legends, too. Like urban legends, like a lot of people have the same story. Now, granted, a lot of them could just be passed on and passed on and passed on, but like too many different people. Right. Just like the whole Miami aliens thing.
Yes.
Where too many people had kind of the same story.
Or the Men in Black. They keep saying that, that's for another life.
we go on that live, there's going to be an SUV roll up in front of the studio.
I want the smoke.
Next caller is going to be 1501. Last four digits, 1501. Star 6 to unmute. 1501. Caller, you're in.
Hey, hi.
Hello.
Hi,
Oh my God. I'm like super nervous. Okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Don't
First, I want to say, Noah. Sorry. Noah,
I love you. I've been following your TikTok forever.
Oh
Your
my
first videos
goodness.
that I seen was the spiritual reparation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And
my
I love like the
gosh.
education that you bring about all of that because like so many people try to hide it. You can't find that information. Like it takes a lot of digging to find that information.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you bringing all that to the light. Like I just sat there for hours and just listened to everything because I just love it. So
I appreciate you. All my OGs from TikTok. Oh,
I
God
feel
bless
like
y'all.
I'm an OG because that's how we found you.
Yeah.
Franny and I found you was
Literally.
Franny found you, not me.
Yep.
Franny introduced us. But sorry, I didn't mean to take up your time, caller.
no, you're good. You're good. All right. So I have so many stories. I'm gonna just kind of start from the beginning. So I was like 18 years old or something like that. My mom was talking to me about when I was a baby. There was one time it was like 2 a.m. or something, and all of a sudden I'm just like screaming bloody murder. Like I'm a baby, I'm like a year old or something. I'm just screaming bloody murder. So she runs into my room, she's freaking out. She opens up the door and she was like, Aaliyah. I opened up that door and I seen it was like not a cloud, but like a black shadow above you. And as soon as I had opened up the door and flicked on the light, she was like, it went through the window and the window wasn't open. And as soon as it was gone, you calmed down crying. And then, like going forward a little bit, I was like maybe 6 years old or something like that. My great grandma had just passed like a week or so before. I was living up in Alaska at the time, so I couldn't go to the funeral or nothing, but I had just found out about it and I was really close with her. But it was like 3 a.m. I woke up like so thirsty. I don't even know why. Like I just woke up so thirsty. I go out to the kitchen, I get some water and drink some water. And then as I'm going back, I hear my grandma right behind me say my name, like Aaliyah, like just like that. And I was like, oh, hell no. I sprinted to my room. You know, you're a kid, you like hide under your covers and stuff. And I remember I like peeked open and like I peeked over my covers and I seen her like in my shades. And I was like, nope, and put the covers over my head and I went to bed. And I was like, I'm out of my business. I'm not doing none of that.
Yep. Listen, I'd be scared
That sounds like the safest thing to do is mind your own business.
They'll go away.
Exactly. I swear. Like, I'm sick of my grandma. Get out my face. Like, go rest.
Go rest.
Yep.
And then I think it was the house after that we had moved, and I was maybe 7 or 8 or something like that. My mom had ran my little siblings to school because I was doing homeschool. My sister was too. And while she was gone, my sister and I were just sitting in the living room. We're just practicing our instruments and stuff. She was like, I think 5 at the time. And all of a sudden we hear like they were walking in boots, like stomping upstairs, walking down towards the stairs. And then we hear steps walking down the stairs. And we're sitting there like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, we're just looking at each other and we're like, what do we do? Because we're little. So we're like, what do we do? And we just keep hearing this walking and stepping. And then by this time, we're holding each other, like bawling our eyes out. And then we see like, it's like, it wasn't even like a full figure. It was like a shadow, kind of like what my mom had seen before, but it had kind of like the body shape, but more like the outline, like an aura kind of. And it didn't have those red eyes like people had talked about in your guys' last week video. It was just a black whatever. And I knew I wasn't tripping because my sister seen it too. And we screamed and we were crying. And then right then my mom walked through the door and she seen us crying. She ran through. She's like, what's going on? What's going on? We were like, there's a man right there. There's something right there. And then when we looked back, it was gone. But she could feel something was, and we were bawling our eyes out. Like you could not console us at all. Like it was so scary.
That's
and
crazy.
It was like an older couple. Yeah. And it was like an older couple that had owned the home. Like we were renting to own. So it was an older couple. They were weird. Like the whole entire situation with them was just weird. And then it was a time, I don't know how much time I have.
I think 10 seconds left.
But that's okay. You can call back in.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's a crazy story, though.
No, yeah. It's very common for people to, entities, they love babies because they're innocent, you know? So I thank you for sharing your experiences. Girl, you've seen some stuff.
So next caller we got calling in 7339. 7339.
And for those of you just joining us, we are giving about 5 minutes per caller just so we can get through to everybody tonight. Because I know last time we had to skip a lot of calls. We know you're all very excited to call in, so I want to make sure we can kind of get to everybody.
7339, star 6 to unmute yourself. Caller, you're in.
Hello, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Holly.
Hi, Holly.
Hi. So many people have asked how you guys are doing already. You guys said fine. So I won't ask that again.
It's nice to meet you, Holly.
You too. So this is actually, I emailed you this story, but I'm going to tell it.
Okay.
This is a Hatman story. And at the time, I didn't know that it was a Hatman story. I Googled Hatman afterwards and I almost shit and I freaked out. It took me like 8 years to be able to listen to somebody else's story. So this happened maybe 2015, 2016. I'm in my college dorm during May terms and I'm sleeping and I kind of wake up, but I don't fully wake up. I'm in between the sleep and wake stage. And what was the detail? It wasn't at the foot of my bed. It was against the wall and it was a tall shadow. And it had like that fedora hat on top of its head.
The Hatman.
And so, yeah, exactly. And if it wasn't for that detail, I don't think I would have remembered, but that was just so weird to me. And so I wake up, but I don't fully wake back up. And so quickly I fall back asleep because I was never fully awake in the first place.
Yeah.
And then the second time I get disturbed. Like I feel like something pounced on me, sit on my chest. But it's weird because it didn't feel like it was on my physical body. It's hard to explain. It felt like it was on my spiritual body, like this pressure on my chest. And I couldn't inhale. I couldn't take a breath. And then finally I'm able to breathe. And at that point, I'm completely awake because I'm like, all right, something's going on. I value my sleep. You're being disrespectful.
Yeah, no, yes. I've had that happen to me before. It's crazy. Have you ever been choked out by anything?
No, the most I've had is when we were at the paranormal investigation. Is something grabbed my arm.
Okay.
But it didn't. Here's the thing, though. It wasn't a demonic incident. It didn't feel demonic there. It was I think it's a child because there was a child who fell in a well and died 100 years ago down there. So I think that's what it was. It's like a child because they play it like other people have been there and they like roll a ball in the it'll roll back to them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
yes,
that would freak me out. This did feel demonic because I didn't process what was going on at the time. I did afterwards. But I specifically remember how it felt that first time I woke up. It was such pure hatred. It was like it hated me like it knew me. I'm like, you hate me like you know who I am. Why do you hate me so much? This energy is so bad. And so the second time I got choked out, like you said, I prayed. And I was like, God, please help it to leave me alone. And then I fell back asleep and I woke up and the sun was out. But that was such a weird experience. I've had it happen one other time before, but it's never happened in my own personal space. So now whenever I'm staying in a hotel or anywhere that has a lot of foot traffic, I pray over the room.
Absolutely.
And I've never had an experience like that since because I just asked Source, asked Spirit, please don't allow me to see anything. I'm comfortable with being able to feel things because I can usually feel when something is there that's not supposed to be there. I'd like to not be afraid of that part of my gift because I think I closed it down after that experience. It was a little traumatic.
Well, listen, anytime you see the Hatman, that's why I was trying to tell you about, what's the football player that you said she won the thing on?
Travis Kelce?
Oh, Damar Hamlin.
Oh, yes. Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, like I got a story, but I appreciate you calling because literally I've seen the Hatman. And
I haven't, and I've had some Benadryl induced nights.
Like this is what happens.
I saw that people were doing that. I was like, what?
And I'm like,
I didn't do it for that reason. I legit was dying and needed some Benadryl. But I hear people they're like, I'm gonna take 10 Benadryl and try to go fight the Hatman.
I don't know why they want to fuck around.
Stupid.
And
I was so
find
mad
out.
when I saw that.
Yes, it's terrifying because it's not a nice entity. It's not.
At all. Horrible. The worst thing I've ever experienced.
Well, thank you so much for sharing it. that was crazy.
Before you answer, I
Yeah,
want to
I
ask.
hope-
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, caller.
No, I was just saying, I hope somebody has another Hatman story because
they do.
I feel like I haven't told that many people.
For the audience's safety, I hope not. Like,
No, like that was gonna, and it's so crazy you said you emailed me because I've been collecting Hatman stories for about 2 months. So I have not ignoring you. I'm just saving it for a video.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Definitely.
well, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you guys.
Oh,
That's on me.
we appreciate you. It's okay, George. George, I have a question for you. If I'm
Yes.
getting choked out by the Hat Man, does my jujitsu work on him? Before you answer, I want George to answer.
Oh no,
No?
there's no way.
You don't
stand
think
no
I can
chance.
get him into a triangle choke?
I feel like his limbs are infinite, and he's like a snake. He would just coil around you.
Yes. That's exactly what he like. So the reason why I kept talking about is it DeMar Hamlin?
DeMar Hamlin, yes.
Yes. So when that happened, I was watching that game.
Well, I think we all were.
Me and Mr. Fresh were watching it. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a reading to see if he'll be all right. And my spiritual coach was like, you better not. Do not
do that.
Do not do that. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm well versed. I know what I'm
know
doing.
what I'm doing.
And it revealed in the reading that he was in between life and death. He was being sent back to, his ancestors. You have to get their permission to die. And they was like, no. And she was like, okay, you shouldn't have did that. And I shouldn't have done that.
Why shouldn't you have done that? What happened?
Because I went to sleep. And that night, feeling all confident, and I seen the Hatman. But the Hatman was pissed. And it wasn't just the Hatman. It was like something was burned in on the side of my wall. Like it was a threat. Don't you ever step into realms that you
like when you see in the movies it burns like
yeah.
the cross or something into it.
And you said what? What is it?
Jiu-jitsu?
No, he did that to me. Like I could not breathe.
Damn.
And I was like,
we're gonna have to get you to a class.
I know, because I got
teach
my
you
ass
fight the
whooped.
hands. You fight the hands, and by fighting the hands, you don't fight the wrist. You fight the hand.
Yes,
if you fight
no.
here, you're not gonna. They're gonna keep going.
So I never I'm like, don't come to me about death. Okay, we cannot ask about death if someone's going to die as a tarot reader, because then I have to fuck around and find out.
You think they can defend against an Imanari roll, George?
Jeez, man. Of course they can. They'll put an imprint on your body for the rest of your life. Next caller.
I love you, Hatman.
4686. Hatman shirts. Going to be in the Bazaar Junkies stores soon enough.
Yo, wait, hold on. We're going to do that. While we're doing this, I'm going to have Mid-Journey make me one. And we'll put it out for sale.
4686. Star 6 to unmute yourself. Make sure you guys subscribe, like both channels, like the video, go on Facebook, follow the journey. 4686. Star 6 to unmute yourself. All right. Caller, you're in.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome to the Bazaar Junkies live show.
Hi. Oh my God. So I have a very unique story. I do have a story about the Hatman, but I'm not going to go into that right now.
I'm so sorry you've had to deal with that. I apologize. I sound so fucking insensitive to all these people. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. So I do want to go into an experience that I had. So I'm a seer. I see things, and I've been seeing them since I was a girl. I come from a lineage of women who see things.
Mm-hmm.
And my stepfather had passed away due to family demise and people wanting to see his downfall. And a couple of years ago, he had came to me and he was very, very, very angry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was to the point, I'm shaking, it was to the point that he was actually reaching out to people in their lineage, far as my aunts and uncles who actually played a part in his demise.
Mm.
And it was very, very intense that I wasn't the only person having these dreams and visions. And my family is very spiritual. We have family blessings once a year where the whole family gets together and all of that. So,
That's interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I was just saying.
He was saying he never heard. That's very common, especially amongst the Black community, especially amongst a lineage of spiritualist people that have.
Because they understand not to fuck around and find out.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay, sorry. Apologize, caller. Please continue.
You're fine. So he was coming to me, and I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, like, he's coming to me a lot, to the point in my altar, his picture was just falling. Even the last couple of days, his picture has just been falling. He visits me frequently. And so he had told me, he said, call your cousin, right? I want to give her a warning, right? And so I call my cousin. She does not answer. And I text her. I was like, yo, I really need to talk to you. She finally answers. And I'm telling her, like, hey, he came to me. He's here with me right now. He needs me to tell you some things. When I tell you he jumped in my body, it was
Wait a minute.
Crazy.
Wait a minute.
Wait, pause.
I would have been like, Dad, I love you, but don't do that.
It was to the point where I was like, I can hear myself sound like him. Like, it was like I was out of my body, but he was in it, and I was looking from the outside in. And I was like, wait a minute, I didn't agree to that. Like, we need to reset, because I did not agree to that. And he was telling her, like, if you don't basically repent for what you and your parents did to me, someone's gonna go.
Just like that.
And he got his reparations.
Period. I was just about to say, the spiritual reparations be the scariest part of all of this.
When I tell you, I had to take a break. Like, I don't want to help no one. I don't want nobody coming to me asking me for what do I need to do? I don't want to do nothing. I took a break for a year because that shit scared the fuck out of me. I had tapped into a frequency I was not prepared for.
Yep. And then no, he's showing me that he's like, I'm looking at this.
No, I made this.
Just now?
Yeah, it's gonna be a T-shirt design.
I'm sorry, caller. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, your ancestor is very much so present, but you can set healthy boundaries for them too. Okay, people think that you cannot tell your ancestors, hey, I didn't like that. Don't do that again. I love you down. I love you to death, to life. But I would say, because I tell my ancestors, because they be wandering around my house, I'm like, okay, this is your space. This is where I will come and praise you. Unless I tell you or call upon you in another room in this house, I don't need y'all accidentally like scaring my kids. So you can tell them, like, I don't want you to do that again. You know, you can set up healthy boundaries. They're like people. They're the same people. But I'm glad he got his spiritual reparations, because who daddy y'all thought y'all was going to play with? Not mine.
He's still getting them. It's weird. It's weird. It is so weird.
Well, I thank you for sharing. That was juicy. Thank you, babe.
Yes, thank you so much for calling in.
All right, our next caller is 5897. 5897. Star 6 to unmute yourself. Man, lots of wild calls tonight.
I know.
That one I think might have took the cake.
Yeah.
Don't sleep with the lights on, George.
Yes. Tonight might be one of those nights. Star 6 to unmute yourself. 5897.
George, this merch is going to be dope.
I was like, you made that just now?
So Midjourney made it, which is an AI tool, but I have to pay for it.
I need you to
send it over to me, Austin.
Okay.
Email it. Caller, you're in the room.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. Hello?
Can you hear us?
Wild calls tonight. I know. That one I think might have.
Feel free to mute your TV for us, please.
Okay, it's muted.
All right,
okay, welcome to the show.
We can hear you good now. Here we are.
Hi.
Hi, love. How are you?
I am well. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're
doing
hanging
good.
in there.
We're
getting
better
spooked.
now that you called.
Okay. I've got I guess you could say a weird story. I don't know if you want to really call it weird.
But I consider myself to be an empath, and I am a Virgo, Pisces rising, and a Sagittarius moon. So I got a really weird combo going on over here. But anyway, I consider myself to be an empath, and I never considered the fact that maybe the dead was speaking through me until I had an incident that happened to me one night. I had a coworker whose brother passed away, and I never met him before. But for some particular reason on this night, something told me to reach out to her and to check on her and find out how she was doing. So as I began to text her, and she texts me back, I'm asking her, hey, how are you doing or whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm hanging on in there. And all of a sudden, I started hearing a voice in my head. So as I'm hearing the voice in my head, I asked my friend, I was like, did your brother ever call you Red? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, well, he's telling me to tell you that he's so sorry. And she was like, what? He says that he's so sorry and just take care of our mother, because their mother was in a nursing home and he died unexpectedly. I didn't really find out what everything meant until later on, but as me and her were going back and forth and we were talking that night, I got very emotional. She got very emotional, and I was just sitting on the side of my bed, just like rocking. But I could hear the voice, because when I asked her, did your brother used to call you Red? And she was like, yes. I said, well, this is what he's telling me to tell you. She's like, wait a minute, he's telling me what? So as I was telling her, and we got to talking back and forth, both of us got very emotional. I was crying like a baby, sitting on the side of the bed. Finally, we get off the phone and everything. A couple of days later, she makes a post on Facebook telling everybody about how they need to make sure they have their life in order, how her brother had no life insurance. So I was like, wow. So basically, he came through me to tell her that he was sorry because he left that burden on them and to just take care of their mom. And so just recently, the mother passed, and I was so afraid to reach out to her because I was scared her mother was going to try to talk through me too.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah. And it was crazy because even after the whole situation took place, and I'd never actually had that happen to me before, after everything took place, I was physically, emotionally spent. Like, it's like I went to sleep and I slept for hours and hours and hours. And I was so freaked out because I was like, this never happened to me before. She's going to think I'm a freaking weirdo. And then another incident that happened months before that, which made me realize, okay, maybe the dead is channeling me. I had a friend guy whose auntie had passed away. She was 101 when she passed, and this was just last year. And so he had other things going on where his uncle was also at the same time on life support, and he was in another state. So he ended up traveling back home just so he could see her because he knew that her time was coming. She ended up passing on the same day as the uncle pretty much, but he ended up not being able to go to her funeral. So I was sitting here one night, and it was like she told me to tell him, and I picked up the phone and texted him and said, your auntie said if you can't make it to the funeral, she understands because you showed her how much you loved her while she was still here. And it was like it brought comfort to him. And I didn't realize that maybe, just maybe, the dead is actually speaking through me to people to give people different messages.
Yep, I would say so too. That goes back to the other caller. Like sometimes they will just be on your neck until you deliver the message you're supposed to for them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm so glad that both of you, y'all answered my call tonight because I don't normally catch people when they're on the live. So
I know.
I watch you guys all the time. So
thank you
I just
so
thought
much.
I would share that story though because it was really just really kind of a weird thing to me that it happened.
I would definitely.
I kind of did like the other lady that said, hey, I didn't give you permission to come here. I'm going to need you to go.
No, I definitely would say you're a medium. You should there are classes for people like you to hone in and sharpen that skill. So thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. George, you have that design pulled up?
I do. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
So this is going on a shirt right now.
That's what I seen at my. That's him. Anybody else in the comments ever seen this man before?
And if you've seen this man, there will be a T-shirt for you.
If you have ever been victimized by this man, call 1-800-fuck-around and find out.
Oh, man. That's going to be... I'm going to try to have that on our merch website, which is in the Bizarre Junkies YouTube description. I'm going to have that up by the end of the show, so anybody who wants to have a cool shirt with the Hatman on it, that'll be up.
Yeah. Go ahead and copy you guys one. Like I said, if you guys aren't following Bizarre Junkie and you follow me, you will really enjoy their content. They are very, very similar. They love spooky tea, and I'm the spooky spiritualist that comes on here.
We do, and we may do a little too much of fucking around and finding it out.
Yeah.
But when we do it, we're respectful. We go in and we tell the spirits, we're not here to piss you off or, George, off the camera.
I learned a lot from our ghost hunts.
What did you learn, George?
About the saging and
we did. We did sage ourselves before we left.
Yes,
which is funny because here's the tea. Here's the tea for everybody. We went and did this ghost hunt. Okay. Pioneer Saloon, over 100 years of history. Brian, his sister is the medium that was on the show, so their family is kind of all in it. He's very sensitive. He's kind of like you. He's very sensitive to it, and he was like, before we leave, we're saging. And he saged every single person.
Yeah.
The owner of the bar has a house in Good Springs there and a house in Las Vegas. Now, the house in Good Springs is older, so of course it has a ton of activity going on.
Right.
Never had activity at their house. A few days later, after we do our investigation, a news company gets wind of it, and they go down and do their own little investigation. But they go down there and they just piss them off and just wind them up. And they didn't sage.
Oh.
The owner goes back to his house in Vegas. All of a sudden, he starts having stuff happen there. So... I believe in saging. And George, I don't think you've had anything happen at your house. I haven't had anything happen at my house.
You guys covered your head like I told you to, too.
I think we all wore hats.
Yes.
You know who did? Well, okay, Travis didn't wear a hat, but he had a headband on. Does that count?
No.
No? All right, Travis is screwed. All right, well, I don't know if Travis can hear us. I know the door's open, but I don't know if Travis is still here. But Travis is screwed, apparently.
Yes. So let's pray for Travis tonight. Our next caller, 5556.
5556. That's pretty cool.
I love fives. I love your phone number. 5556. *6 to unmute yourself. *5556. Last 4 digits. *6 to unmute yourself there. *6 to unmute yourself. Make sure you guys like the video.
There's beef in my comments, I think.
There's what?
There's a little beef in my comments. I want to address it, but I do want the callers to get in.
Address it while this caller gets in.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. We'll address the beef shortly.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you. Welcome to the call-in show.
Great. Hi, Mama Noah and Mr. Bizarre Junkie. How are you?
I like that. I'm not Mr. Bizarre Junkie.
Mr. Bizarre Junkie.
I like that. That's
hey,
me now.
Well, I didn't want to not greet you, so
I appreciate that.
But I have so many things to share, but I'm going to just share 2 short ones if I may.
Okay.
So everyone remembers the incident when Bin Laden was, taken out by the Navy SEALs.
I was
correct?
in my living room. I was there. Yep. Or I wasn't there, but I was at my house. I remember where I was when that happened.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the perfect segue because the night when it happened, I dreamt it. I was actually there. It was like I was remote viewing.
Yes.
I saw the helicopter go down behind the wall. I was hovering over the building, and 3 ladies in wedding dresses came out. And then later, it was said that was 3 wives in that building.
Mm-hmm.
And so I woke up and I told my husband about where I was at and what happened. And he said, and his face was like this, all the blood drained out.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have televisions. We didn't have televisions in our bedroom. So we went into the TV room and it was all over the news. Mm-hmm. And I just sat down. Everything that I had just saw, they were reporting on the news. Mm-hmm. So I know I astral traveled there.
Yes.
I saw this in real time.
Yes. Listen,
So
that is crazy.
that was so crazy.
That is crazy. And what are the odds like that's where you ended up? I mean, out of all the places.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. So
that's
that
crazy.
was one of, I mean, I have all kinds of spooky things that happen. And the last thing I'm going to share is one day, in the middle of the day, I was down in the basement, had fell asleep. And I promise you, I had hand-to-hand combat with the devil himself.
Tell me about this.
You caught my attention. I'm listening.
Okay. So I was asleep on the couch. And you know how you can grab someone's hand, just palm to palm, and you go back and forward, back and forward, back and forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. We were going back and forth, just our hands going back and forth, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom growing up, she was a spiritualist, so she always taught us, me and my siblings, to plead the blood of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And I pled the blood of Jesus, and that joker didn't leave. He was still there.
Yep.
So the only thing that I could do then is, I remember the word so clearly. I said, I rebuke you. You have no control here. You have no dominion here. I kept repeating that. And then eventually I was able to snap myself out of, of that experience.
Yeah.
But that has stuck with me. I mean, I'm serious. We was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I wasn't scared. I was more shaken than anything, because usually pleading the blood of Jesus, it gets you up out of them things. Not him. He must have been a high level minion.
Yep. And that happened to me too. I wish, I got to come back up here and just tell my stuff, because a lot of the things that these callers, that's why I'm so open, because I know you guys are telling the truth, because I've experienced it. I've had to square it up. Yeah. Listen, I appreciate you sharing with us, because I can identify way, way, way too much. That's why I'm a spiritualist now, because the shit I've been through. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for opening the lines and having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Did you?
I have a question for you, Black Cauldron here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna get a lot of these phone calls throughout the next year, and this is early. This is episode 2 of us doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a proper question to ask them to go into details with a situation like that, or do you kind of just leave it to them being willing to share about it?
I let them share what they will. Some of those, some of the things that people experience literally traumatize them. Like, some people have PTSD from certain things that they've experienced, dreams, whatever the case is. So I just let them kind of, tell me what they want me to know, or tell us what they want us to know. There's certain things that I'll never talk about on TikTok, YouTube, none of my platforms, because it literally traumatized the shit out of me. So,
but she'll text you about it tomorrow, guys. Don't worry. No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to.
Yeah, no. I mean, I just figured we're gonna get a lot of those, and I feel like this is a safe space to share, and that's an important thing to understand too, moving forward with all these callers.
Yeah.
George, I'm about to send you a link here. The Hatman merch is made.
Amazing.
I have it, t-shirt, hoodie, sticker. So if you want to support the show and get some cool Hatman merch, that'll be up. I'll post that link in the chats too. While we're waiting for the next caller, do you want to? I think I know what you're meaning by beef.
Yes, there is beef in my comments, and I can't go up.
And here's the thing: you guys are damn near 300 strong in there. Okay.
Yeah. I love y'all to death. So someone has said, be careful of talking to your ancestors. You might run into a low vibrational demon. And there's truth. So 2 things could be the same, or the truth at the same time. So you have to be very grounded, and you have to know what you're, who you're speaking to. Okay. And that takes divination. It takes you just connecting and knowing that your ancestors are, they don't play about you. Okay. But for the most part, whenever you are speaking, when someone says something like that, it's kind of root in Christian supremacy. So it offends people within the comment section, because they truly believe that ancestor veneration is demonic. But I can honestly say that's not the experience I've had. I teach people on Patreon how to connect with their ancestors and make sure if they are connecting with spirit, that is their spirit. It is the right spirit. So yeah, I mean, whenever you're playing with things like Ouija boards and pendulums, you have to be careful about that as well. You will get a D word. I ain't saying it in your house no more, Austin.
You know what? At this rate, I think here's the thing. I think we need to do. George had an experience. Him and another one of our hosts, who's been on the show, Marcus Deegan, had an experience 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, last weekend.
Oh, last weekend.
Last weekend on Saturday in Studio A, there was a moment where there was props propped up on like a shelf, and as none of us were by the shelf, and Marcus, the host, was like talking towards us, so I was facing the shelf. You saw the props like fall off, and they fell in opposite directions. One fell back, 2 of them fell forward, and it was like, honestly, this is my exact words. I was like, that was really weird, but like, let's talk about it after the live stream. Yeah. Like, I was like, because it was
fight.
right before we were about to go live, and we're like, let's not question it right now.
Are you guys cleansing the studio regularly, spiritually cleansing it? A lot. You remember whenever we did the tarot readings?
Yep.
I keep forgetting what it was. That little thing kept going off.
Yeah. Cameron, you want to go grab it?
And it was going.
It's on George's desk.
And I was talking to your ancestor, who also is.
We were talking to Christian.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and George and I have his ashes above our desk. I brought mine. I tried to make them whole.
Right.
Even though
he was trying to tell me, like, I said, is he up on a mantle or something? And you're like, oh, he's in the office. But whenever we got off of the stream, I went in and I can see why I thought it was a mantle, because he's literally hung up high or higher up. So you
Cameron,
guys need to
come on, Cameron, say hi to everybody. Everybody say hi to Cameron. Hi, Cameron. We have our EMF detector.
That thing was going off so bad after we actually got off of the live, and it was so crazy because some of the people, when we were doing the reading, they were like, I just don't buy it. I'm like, okay, whatever, because I'm not selling you anything, I don't think. But it's just crazy. Like, you guys need to be cleansing this. You have a lot of spooky guests that do paranormal hunts, ghost hunts. Right now,
I feel like I'm the creepiest one at the moment.
No. There are lots of different beings that walk through.
I would say we do get our fair share of low vibrational beings.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
A week.
I would be scared to be in the studio by myself. It does have a heavy energy about it. You guys, I can cleanse it if you want.
Should we? I think we should, and we should film it.
You guys.
Yep.
Need
now,
it.
here's the thing. Because I asked in your chat if we should do a ghost hunt, and it was a unanimous yes.
I would love to go on a ghost
George,
hunt.
I think we should do an investigation here.
Yeah, you've been saying that.
Yeah. Well, after that, I was like, we should, because I've told this. I don't know if I told the story on this show. I've told it on the Bizarre Junkie show, and I've told it to you. But when we had that crime scene cleaner in, and he had those dolls, I would not touch them.
No, you shouldn't.
Yes.
All right.
I think that would be dope.
We need to make this happen, because that happened literally last Saturday. So, caller, last 4 digits, 3188. If you have any solutions other than a cleanse, what do you recommend that I do when I go home tonight?
You?
Yes.
Or what are you feeling?
Oh, I see. I was hoping maybe our caller has one. An answer for me.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I'm like,
no.
What's going on?
I was feeling dead air there. But we do have the caller in. So, caller, what's up?
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
This is my first time calling in. I love you, Noah. I've just discovered your channel.
Oh, thank you.
And I loved it.
Thank you so
your
much.
Channel. I have a couple of things. I've always seen things as a child coming up. I'm 49 now. I had one experience that one of your previous callers talked about as far as sleep paralysis, or what they call sleep paralysis. But I was attacked in my sleep, and it was very traumatizing. Very traumatizing. And I come from a Christian background.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my family are spiritual as well. So whenever something like that happened, we was always told that that's a witch riding you.
Mm-hmm. Come on with it.
And that if it happened 3 times in your life, that you could die.
Mm-hmm.
So we was always told to put a Bible under your bed and open it. And so that's what I did after that. But it was still so traumatizing that I was crying over that for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yes. It will scare people. Like, it will scare you to death.
Yes, yes. And if it wasn't for someone being in the bed with me that felt me hustling, I don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
Because that person woke me up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is very common to believe a witch is riding you. I've heard that too.
Yeah, that's what they used to say. And I come from part Native American background.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw something living in that very same house where I saw 2 things. I saw a man standing in the window, which the height of the window was such that I should have seen his whole torso and everything, right? I could describe that man to you to this day, and that was like 12, 13 years ago. But at that same house, I saw a lady's face in like the trees and the grass and everything. It's like it merged in such a way that I could see this very beautiful woman in the scenery. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I could piece together who the man was, but I haven't figured out who that woman was that I saw.
Mm-hmm. And that's crazy because you usually see something scary. I've heard of that too. Like everywhere you look, you're seeing this face, but it's usually something that's terrifying. So I'm glad it wasn't terrifying, but it still leaves the mystery of who's the woman.
Right.
Ma'am, who are you?
And I mean, she was very beautiful. Who is she? But I do see, the scary stuff. I see the scary stuff, but I pray. I start, like she said, call on Jesus. I start praying about it and everything. But when I came into spirituality, as far as setting up the altar and everything, I was doing it before I realized that's what setting up an altar was. And then I figured out that I'm a life path number 7.
Oh, yeah, I'm an 11 girl.
Okay.
Am I on number 1 then?
I think I'm 11. Somebody told me my life path. They did it with my birthday and stuff, but some of us have it harder than others. If you catch my drift.
Yeah. But I just wanted to add that, and I'm so thankful you guys took my call.
Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
I just made my last
video.
Yes, my last video was just on sleep paralysis.
Is that one out now?
Mm-hmm.
Which one is that one called?
Shoot, what did I name it? Don't give me the line.
Boo. No, I'm just kidding. You're supposed to know every video name, title.
Oh,
people are crazy.
I think it was Sleep Demons.
Sleep Demon. Let's see. I'm seeing right now if I can pull it up.
I think.
Sleep Demon.
Yes.
Hey, that thumbnail.
Yeah.
Who makes your thumbnails right? Are you?
Me. Yeah.
What does she need a team for?
Oh yeah, we almost ran over a ghost. That was nice. What was that? Yesterday? The day before yesterday?
What?
Oh my goodness, we were at what was that, like Mountain's Edge?
We went to go see a house around the corner.
Oh yeah, it was like far out though. It was like there was nothing but mountains and then houses. Like I could climb the mountain and be fine. And we were coming back, and I'm like looking in the middle of the street. I'm like, Mandela, slow down. There's somebody in the middle of the street. He's like, what the fuck? And as we get closer, I'm like, you don't see that man in the middle? You need to slow down. There's a man in the middle of the street. And then he just dissipated. I said, oh, he's gone. Never mind.
That's when you speed up. Right?
He was like, He was like,
That's
what do you
nuts.
mean? And it was in front of the high school. And I'm like, I should look up the cross streets and see if someone got hit there. But it was like either an old teenager or a man in the middle of the street. And he looked like he was just standing there. And I'm looking at him and he's just looking forward. And I'm like, you're going to hit him. You got to slow down, sir. We playing.
Now,
Speed Racer.
did you speed up?
He never slowed down. He looked at me like I was fucking nuts.
I'm looking like there's nobody in the street, man. What are you talking about? She's like,
And
no,
then
you
he
don't
just
see
like,
that man, and I'm like, no.
he
I don't.
dissipated, and I was like, oh, never mind, just a ghost. He's gone. don't judge
No,
me.
hey, I cannot say nothing about nothing now. Okay,
I would be freaking out all the time. Like if I had that, I mean, I'm assuming it doesn't happen often, but when it does, you're like, geez.
Yeah, I can even describe what he was wearing. Like he had on jeans, a black shirt, and
did this look like somebody like in our time or somebody?
no,
maybe older?
somebody within the last probably 10 years. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We see spirits in our house all the time, though.
Yeah.
It's like a regular occasion. Like, hey guys.
At what
let's
point
cereal.
did you? At what point were you like, all right, it is what it is. I love this woman. I'm just gonna put up with it.
They don't bother me though, because I'm not tapped in how she's tapped in.
And you're like, hey, shut up. The Steelers game is on.
Right. Yeah.
Call her.
It's me and my
Everybody,
kids.
but everybody sees the activity but me. Like our children are tapped in.
Yeah.
Caller, are you tapped in?
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello.
Hi. Hi, I just have a couple of things that I wanted to share. So my parents and I moved into this house when I was about 7 years old. And my little brother at the time, he was really, really young, like a toddler at that time. And he used to just stand in this doorway and he would point and he would cry. And so, like, my mom always kind of, like, passed it off, like, oh, it's nothing, we pick him up and console him and we move forward. But then years later, my mom ended up slipping up and telling us that the very first night that we moved in, her and my stepdad got woken up out of the same exact dream by the same exact person in the same exact way at the same exact time. And like he rolled them both over and he realized that they weren't who he was looking for and he just peacefully rolled them back over.
Hold on.
And I was like, wow, y'all waited forever.
Why? Right. Because they didn't want to scare y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had been experiencing things and they were just like, okay, like we're respectful and all that stuff. So there was another incident where like I was asleep and I had a dream that this Native American man was buried under like between my window and the ground of the house. And I was like, what the hell? And that was really weird and creepy too. But then the last thing I will share on that is one time my little cousin, she used to live with us off and on because my uncle worked really far and he had custody of her. And so she was, it was a period where she was staying with us and she wanted to sleep in my room. Usually I was like, no, but this night I was like, okay, fine. And I woke up to like something nagging, just some nagging noise. So finally, when I wake myself all the way up and I look and I hear a deep inhale breath and a deep exhale breath and then two knocks over and over and over. And I look at my little cousin and she's sitting up with her legs crossed and her arms in her lap with her back to me though.
Oh no.
And it sounds like it's coming from her, but I can't see her body moving. I can just hear the and then the two knocks over and over and over. And so I call her name. She's not stopping. She's not acknowledging. She hears me. Nothing is changing. And so I get out of my bed and all of a sudden she stands up, but it doesn't look like she pushes herself to stand up. She just stood up.
Oh no.
And at this point, well, that's not true. I'm sorry. So I get up and I get out of the bed and I stand up behind her and I'm calling her name. Nothing's changing. I start walking around her to get to her face because I'm irritated you woke me up out of my sleep and you're scaring me. So I'm trying to get around to her face because she's not responding at all and she's not stopping. But at this point, I don't even see her arm moving to knock. So now I'm freaked the F out. And so I'm walking around to get to her face and her body is turning, but she's not scooting her feet. There's no pause in her movement. It's super fluid. And so I'm getting freaked out. And then all of a sudden she stands up. And again, it doesn't look like she gets herself up. She just stood up and her body is still turning as I'm trying to get in front of her to snap her out of this because I'm scared. And all of a sudden, and the noise, mind you, that same rhythmic breathing and the knocking is going on the whole time. So now I know it's not her.
Oh, God.
I don't know what it is, though, but it hasn't stopped. And then all of a sudden, she just dropped and looked up at me crying and grabbing her arm what did you do to me? And I was like, nope, you got to get out.
I was just about to say she would have to go.
I don't care about the alarm going off. You got to go.
I would have been like, you got to go, little mama. I'm sorry, because what in the poltergeist is
gave her
going
an ice
on?
pack. Yes, gave her an ice pack for her arm and the couch for her to sleep on. And kept my room to myself.
Oh, that's scary. Oh, my gosh. Thank you for sharing, because I was at the
they
edge
have
of my
some
seat.
peaceful pacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my mom has made some peaceful pacts with the spirit that lives in that house, and it's more of a protective thing because she's run a daycare in that house and everything, and they've done remodeling and everything, and yeah, nothing dangerous. My little brother has some other stories, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
That
I was on the edge of my seat. I'm
Thank
like, child, she would have had to go.
Me too, girl. Me too.
Yeah, the whole stood up but didn't stand up. I was like,
I would have
no.
yeeted little sister.
That was about how she dropped. It was more,
Man, listen, us spiritualists is the same thing. We have the same fears as everybody else. I'm scared of
Nah, y'all built different.
We are a little different. I ain't gonna hold you. We are a little different, but it's still scary.
Alrighty, we have our next caller, 7621. 7621. Star 6 to unmute yourself. There we are. Caller, you're in.
Yeah, good evening. This is Mr. Herb J. Casper. I'm calling in from Fort Worth tonight. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Wow, welcome to the show.
I've been listening to y'all, and I don't necessarily have nothing spooky per se, but I do have something that's just boldly bizarre that I thought maybe y'all could shed some light on for me if you could.
Sure, absolutely. Sure. Enlighten us, please.
Okay, so long story short, we got some oil wells out here, and we got some farmland, and we got all kind of animals on the farm. And in particular, we just picked up a new goat a couple of months ago. Y'all familiar? Have y'all ever had a goat?
No, I can't say I have. George, have you had a goat?
No, that's not.
Yeah, I don't think any of us here have had goats. But go on, please, continue.
This thing's hornier than a two-peckered fox in a hen house, but that's besides the point. What I wanted to talk about tonight is I have reason to believe, based on this goat's behavior, I believe that this goat is John F. Kennedy reincarnated.
Wow. Okay.
Tonight.
Okay. Now, what makes you say that? Where are we getting this this inference from?
And again, I don't have much experience with goats. You know, I own the farmland, but wouldn't call myself a farmer. So I just want to make that blatantly clear.
Okay.
That I'm not a farmer, and I don't really have prior experience handling goats. I know what y'all have heard about, Texas and goats and people, but I'm not one of them. I'm just letting you know. I want the record to be clear on that before I proceed. Okay, so, for example, I'm sure y'all know, how John F. Kennedy died and whatnot.
We do.
And this goat's behavior is very peculiar, I would say, to say the least. For example, he doesn't like to ride in a convertible, for starters. He doesn't. We had a for the 4th of July. 4th of July last year. We had a big parade. The whole town was there. Goat didn't want to come. Didn't want to be at the parade. Okay? And then I've also noticed that me and my wife, we love to watch old classic movies. That's just our thing, like, Netflix and chill, if you know what I'm saying. And the goat seems to be really fond of any movie that's got Marilyn Monroe. So it's because of all of that I feel that this goat is the great late John F. Kennedy. And I wanted to know if there's anything that y'all could recommend on how I could go about maybe channeling with that and maybe communicating with him in the afterlife.
Have you thought about getting a second goat and naming it perhaps like Fidel Castro or something? Maybe they'll have a crisis between them.
Idea. Yeah, that's not a bad idea right there. Let me write that down. Okay. And do you know where I would get such goat?
George, this is more your. Let's ask our resident Cuban here, George. Where can we get a goat that is named Fidel Castro?
Excuse me, sir. Where did you get your first goat from?
The goat was a gift, and that's the other peculiar thing about this is the goat was a gift, and I don't want to drop names, but it was a gift from a Kennedy. And so I thought, well, did they know something? Are they, I was confused, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think that's beyond my spiritual connection, sir. But
I believe him.
Yeah,
I think
for all the
goat.
reasons you listed, that's you should take that.
Like for example, like I've got a Ford Bronco, and the goat jumps right in. But when he wants to go, like if my wife wants to take him, she's got one of them Volkswagen Rabbits, convertible style, old school, classic car, if you will. And the goat wants nothing to do with riding in the back of that thing.
I wouldn't either.
That was a tell. Yeah. And then, so we let him out, once, when they shit, it's little pellets, it's not no big deal. Right. And, but that doesn't mean we want them shitting in the house, And so I had opened the door and he was looking at me and I said, just go on out there, and do your business, guy. Just run up right up there on that grassy knoll and do your business. And he didn't want to go on the grassy knoll.
Do you happen to have like a fox named like Oswald or Lee Harvey or something?
No, we don't. We don't have any other animals that would have any kind of names that I think would be a disturbance to him mentally, because we're real conscientious about all of the animals, not just the goats, about all their mental health, because we know that's of importance.
All right, then.
Well, they said it's a lugao.
What is that?
What's that thing?
It's like a shapeshifter, and they think it's a
like a skinwalker?
Kind of like, but it's like in Haitian and Caribbean culture.
Okay.
They're saying it in the comments. He got a lugao. If you ask questions or if it talks to you, then it's definitely John F. Kennedy, the lugao. Reincarnated.
Well, that's now that's funny because you said if he talks to you, and the goat did say a thing or two.
It's definitely a lugao.
I couldn't translate what he was saying because I'm not fluent in that language, but he said something like, bah. Yeah, and he says that
caller
all the time, like he's always repeating himself, but I thought maybe he's trying to tell us something.
Caller, you got to keep us filled in on this. We do have a list of people to get through here, but no, you definitely.
My pleasure. Y'all do a great job with that show. We're big fans up here in Fort Worth. We've got Fort Worth behind. I want you to know.
Well, I'm glad we got Fort Worth behind us. Thank you. Yeah, make sure you call in next week. We want an update on Mr. JFK
reincarnated.
Goated.
Yeah.
Sure thing. We'll give you a jingle.
Okay. George, I think we have time for one more call before we got to wrap up the show tonight.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time of the show where you got to get fired up because this last caller has the possibility of changing your night's outcome. You thought you were going to have a cool night. This has been a fun stream. This next caller can blow your mind. Last four digits, 2401.
Somebody in the comments said we need one named Bill Clinton.
Right. That's what we should have.
2401. Caller, you are in the room.
Hello.
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 Oh my gosh. Hi. I've been waiting forever.
Well, we're glad we could get to you as the
I'm trying
last
to
call
sleep.
for tonight.
Okay. Okay. So this story it happened in DC. I was doing this job for this rich lady, and it was for a favor from like an old manager. And the last part of the day, the last part of the week, I was trying to finish putting her couch together. Her husband let us into the house, and it was a brand new house that was renovated. And the house had it was just him. It was him, my boyfriend, and me. So I was finishing up with the couch, and I could hear footsteps. And I was like, okay, well, maybe his wife is upstairs, and I just didn't see her come in. Okay, whatever. So we're finishing up, and we're trying to connect the speaker to the couch. And sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No, you're fine. Take your time, because I'm listening.
I'm trying to connect the speaker to the couch, and we're trying to tell him, like, hey, the speaker's not connecting. Can you come down and help us? He's like, yeah, sure. So he comes downstairs, and I could still hear footsteps. So I'm just like, I'm not going to tell them because this is his new house. I don't want to scare him at his new house. So I'm gonna just be quiet. So I can hear them. Like, they're loud. Like, boom, boom, boom. Like, and the guy keeps putting on Top Gun for some reason to test the speakers. I don't know. He liked Top Gun, I guess. So he kept putting Top Gun on, and I could, like, you can hear it. You can hear the footsteps over the speakers. So I was like, there's no way I'm not the only one that's hearing. This is crazy. So we finally go upstairs. We finally connect the speakers, and he's all like, I've been hearing footsteps. Did you guys hear that? I'm like,
oh
yeah,
my God.
I've been hearing it the entire
Nobody
time.
wanted to say anything.
No one, and then no one believed me. He's like, those aren't real. And I said, sir, I'm telling you right now, you got ghosts in your house.
Right.
They're real. He's like, no, because the house is like a townhouse. So you know how most townhouses have, like, the up floor, middle floor, and then the downstairs floor. So anything that was above would basically be under the floorboards or basically floating in between. So I'm like, yeah, babe, you got a ghost in here. Ghosts are real.
You're telling them like it's like you're like
it's okay.
an exterminator. Yeah, you got termites. It is what it is.
And this was a brand new house, like no one ever lived in it before, or like it was new to him.
Yes. They bought this house for $1 million, like $1 million.
Yep.
I would be mad as hell.
Yeah.
No, well, I've heard of that here in Las Vegas. Brand new houses out in Aliante, and they're haunted as hell.
That's not new land. That's why.
It's not. It's not. It's recycled land. So it does not surprise me at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah. 100%. Oh, and then the crazy part is I'm telling the guy that your house is haunted. Your house is haunted. We leave out. He's like, yeah, well, I don't think it's haunted, blah, blah. I said, okay, well, enjoy your brand new house.
Right.
Enjoy your couch. You will never see me again.
Right. You don't have to worry.
The car. I kid you not. We get in and we turn the car on, and the speaker, my boyfriend gets a phone call, but his phone isn't connected. So someone calls him and they say, his name shows up. But we're like, hello, like, who is it? And no one says anything. So I'm like, ooh, child, no, hang that phone up.
Nope.
Hang that phone up.
Hang it up.
And then he hangs it up, and then it does it again. I was like, we got to leave this house right now. Right now. We got to go. We ain't never come back here ever again. Nope.
Whenever in those type of places, if that ever happens to you or even any of the viewers, you walk out backwards. Like, walk out backwards. Yep. And if you come in late at night, you walk in backwards. So, but yeah.
Well, luckily it was in the daytime when the last time I went. So, but never
That's
again.
Scary. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Was quite a last call. Of the night.
We appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, both of you guys' show.
Thank you. We so appreciate it. So I know your ride is literally a minute, like outside.
Yeah.
We got him waiting, so it's fine. But I want to say thank you again. This is George. I think this is the show right here. I think this is.
Well, we can talk. Yes, we can talk and see what we can do. It's the spot.
Well, I'm just saying these Friday shows. I think this is permanent. I think this is what we got to keep doing every Friday. Which I mean, Noah's schedule permitting, we'll be back on next Friday.
I took a photo of all the callers too that didn't get a chance to talk tonight. So if you call in first next week, I'll bump you and make sure that you get your story out there. So
because some people were waiting.
Yeah, everybody in the wait list. Yeah, if we didn't get around to you tonight, don't worry. Just come back in the first one. I got all your numbers listed, so you'll hit the top of the list.
So thank you so much to everybody watching. Check out our sponsors, Puffy Slippers, and I mean, you got any sponsors we're pushing yet?
Not yet. I mean, not really. None that I really care to.
But you know what people can do with you is they can book a session with you.
You can book a session with me. Yes, I need you to teach me how to do merch on YouTube because I don't know how to. I have a beautiful drawing of me that I had commissioned. YouTube, of course, watch that last video. Facebook and Instagram, follow me there. If you're not following me on TikTok, I post over there as well. So shout out to the DB Waist Beads. She had the comment section cracking. Okay, I've been reading the comments. I just didn't want to interrupt the callers. I really appreciate y'all.
Yeah. George, thank you so much for helping us. You can find him at Gridiron Junkies and at Mr. George Carmona.
Yep.
He's doing everything here. We've been busy, and George has been the busiest. So I want to say thank you again to everybody. The merch store right now for Bizarre Junkies is 20% off everything. So go down there, check it out. Link is in the description on the Bizarre Junkies channel. I even posted it in Noah's channel because she's nice enough to not yell at me for doing that.
No.
Thank you so much to everybody watching. We have new episodes coming out next week. You can also become a member for 99 cents and get access to content early as well as content you won't find unless you are a member. But until next time, everybody, stay bizarre. Caller, you're on the air.
Threatened, I felt unwelcome, and it was a death. I see this light. It's like